Okay, so long story short, I have here my little jumping program. Do you guys remember this game?
Yeah.
It's a little dumb game that I made. So, as I recall, there's this little blob, and he wraps the screen, and you just kind of are supposed to push the mouse to keep him from contacting these little green balls. And every time he contacts a little green ball, you lose some, or you gain some demerits, right? So I just want to improve on this game a little bit, and so exactly what's here doesn't really matter that much. But what I want to do is I want to add a switch statement for a game screen, and I also want to add some kind of game over dude behavior, right? So the first thing I'm going to do to add the game over behavior is in here in the jumper. That's the player's object, right? There's a, let's see, there's a move and a jump and a display method and a constructor and some variables. And then the little enemy guys, the dodgers, right? There's variables and a constructor and a display method and a move. And then there's a collide method here. You guys see that? Okay, so, oh, there's already a hit variable, right? You see that? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add to my jumper a Boolean that I'm gonna call alive. And I'm going to, when I make a new jumper, right, I'm gonna set alive to true. You guys all with me on that? So I've got a either true or false, and when we make a jumper, it's going to be alive. And then I need a decision about when I want to kill this thing, right? So I'm going to just say if you get to 100 demerits, you lose the game. Right? So where do I want to put that thing?
Probably in the draw.
Yeah, I mean the draw is a reasonable spot. I could put it in its own method. I'm just gonna throw it in the draw for kind of simplicity's sake. This is not the cleanest way to do this, but it's a way to do this. So let's see. In my draw, I've got my background that wipes everything. I've got this thing that prints the score out. That's these two lines.
I'll put it in the for loop, so you can check that individually.
Okay. So in the individual, right, the demerits thing gets updated, and I want it to stop if it gets to 100. So I'm just going to, after the updates of the score, I'm going to write down here, if, and what did I say? I said I wanted if the demerits get to 100, right? So demerits equals 100. Is that going to work? Variable demerits doesn't exist.
You got a capital.
No, it's called score. Not D-score, but score. So if score is 100, then I want to... Yeah, I want to kill my jumper off, right? So I do jumper dot alive equals
False.
false. And you could make a kill jumper method. Oh, my jumper's not called jumper. What's he called? It's called jumper 1. You guys all see that? That's how you get at the alive variable in the jumper, right? Is you just call the thing's name and then dot the variable that you want. Okay, so then I want the game to like stop if that happens. You guys see this? Okay. For one thing, maybe let me just do this. Print line. Jumper 1 dot alive. So let me just check and see what's up here. Okay, so I've got 12 demerits so far, 18, 25. I just need to pick up some demerits quick.
Oh my gosh.
That was not a good way to pick up demerits quickly, apparently. So clearly this game needs some work, right? Some love is needed here.
It's good. It's a feature.
It's a feature. Yeah, it's supposed to do this. It's supposed to do this.
It's like Portal.
Hey, oh yeah, it says false.
Okay, so this went to false. Please note, right, that this only happened when the score actually was exactly equal to 100. Is that a great plan?
No, I have learned from experience. That's not
Yeah, that's not a great plan. What do I want to do to modify that so that it...
greater than
yeah, so you could do greater equals 100, or you could cut the middleman and 3 characters and do greater than 99. Yeah, please don't play Code Golf too much. But I did cut 2 characters from that, just saying.
Yeah, only a variable should be 1 character.
Oh my god.
Don't do that either. Okay, so I'd like to add to this some kind of screening behavior, right? So let me throw my screening idea in here. So up at the top, I'm going to have a screen variable. I'm going to set this to an integer type, and I'm going to start it at 0. Okay? And then in my draw method here, I'm going to have a switch. Oops. Switch on the screen variable. And this is like a whole bunch of if statements. That's really what a switch does. So, misplaced. So I'm just kind of following along with the prompts, right? Like it said I needed a curly brace, so I put in a curly brace. I knew it needed a case 0, so I did that. I'm gonna hit Control T and get everything all indented, nice and purty. So if the score gets to 99, we're gonna set jumper alive to false, and I'm gonna update the screen. So I'm gonna do screen equals 1.
That's in the switch.
I know. So when the screen starts, right, when the program starts, the screen variable is set to 0, right? Everybody with me on that? So when I switch on the screen variable, what that's going to do is ask, what's the switch variable? And then if it's 0, it's going to drop into case 0. And if it's 1, it's going to drop into case 1. Cool. So in case 1, all I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe the background. And I'm going to text out. What should I text out?
Stop, guys.
You're dead. It's going to really complain about that because that needs to be a string. The function text expects string and then a float and a float. Oh, what are the other 2 parameters? You guys remember? Yeah, those are...
text line and stuff.
Yeah, and then I'm going to need some text stuff. Okay, so I need someplace up here, like in my setup method. I may as well do... Oh, I already had text size up there. Oh, and I had text getting displayed somewhere. So if I dork with the text mode up here, it's going to be a problem. You guys see why? You already did something down here. So you just need to make it agree or just set that in here.
So in your case 1, could you just say...
I'm just going to let it be in an awkward spot for right now.
Case 1 at the end of your text, could you say if key code enter, then go back to case 0?
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. So if, and I might just do mouse pressed because mouse was my control.
Then it will reset quickly.
Yeah, but that's fine. It can reset quickly. Oh, whoops. If mouse pressed thing, and let's try. How do I get back to the other screen?
Screen equals 0.
Yeah. And if I had 3 screens, I might do if mouse pressed, screen is 1, then have the gameplay on screen as 1, and then have my game over screen be screen 2, and then if mouse pressed, reset it to 0. Something happened. Why'd it get to you're dead? Really fast. What happened? Switching on the screen. I'm not sure what happened. Obviously, I missed something. So, screen 0.
Cool. Oh. Scroll down. You got a break.
I forgot a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean I forgot a
You
break?
need a break after each case declaration.
Oh! Thank you. Okay, so the cases, they start with a case, right? And then they end with a break. So let's see if...
Keeps going.
Yeah, otherwise it just goes through all the cases. The break pops it out of the switch. So
Oh,
why isn't it working now?
there's still over 99 demerits.
Yeah, because I never reset the demerits, right? You guys see that? So I also never set
You
the
don't have to win.
jumper back to true, right? I never reset the game, actually. I just reset what screen it was on, so it's just telling me, you're dead still. You're dead still.
Well, you
Right?
have it on mouse press too. If you like help the mouse down, you can.
Well, the jumper still doesn't exist.
So I am still accumulating demerits, right? And if you look down here at my jumper,
0, 1, 0.
Oh,
yeah, I'm getting 0, 1. That's the, what's that printing?
the screen number it's on because it's switching back and forth 60 times a second.
Yep, every time I hold the mouse down, right, it's switching back and forth. So if I really wanted to reset the game itself,
And you met.
Jump.
in here, not only do I want to set screen equals 0, right? I want to set,
Well, should you switch everything before you do the screen equals 0? Just so it's ready to you switch back.
that's a good point, yeah. So I might want to set my jumper to alive, right? And what else?
Reset your position.
And demerits.
Yeah, I might want to at least reset my demerits to 0. You guys see that? Those would be, like, that's probably not all the things I need to reset for my game. I probably want to reset the speed. You'll notice some weirdness here when it... I should have picked a smaller reset. Come on. Need 100 demerits. This is the worst game ever. Needs to either go faster or slower. The hitboxes are also broken. Okay, so now... why did it do that?
It's a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature. It starts out moving really fast. Because I never reset the speed that it was at. You guys see that? So there's some issues with this one. You probably want to start a reset method. But the point of it, right? And the thing I really want you to take from this is when you do a switch, you switch on an integer, right? And then you have case and break, and case and break, and case and break, however many times you want. And be aware that if the screen variable gets past what you've cased out, it won't do anything. Right? Like if your screen variable gets set to 17, and it only has case for 0 and case for 1, it's not going to do anything. Or it'll only do the stuff that's outside of your switch statement. Cool? Questions, Steels? Do you have a question, Zach?
Use, micro as an example as well.
Do you have a switch?